Hello guys, you're welcome to the Minority Report Nigeria. I am Chiduzi.
And I'm Walter.
Today on the show we are
Taking a nostalgic trip backwards.
back down memory lane.
Doing a reconnaissance. What's that word?
Oyibo. Anyway, it's been in 2020. It's been 2 years since we started TMR. I think it was our first episode was February 17th or so.
Yeah, in February.
February 17th.
I remember it wasn't even planned. So.
It was just
randomly.
But we had been talking about it before then. We had been talking about doing something like that because these are the sort of conversations we have usually whenever we hang out. So it's like,
okay, so why
we might as well.
We talk about this a lot, so why not just make it something you can be a part of? And that was in February.
Yeah, so we did, and it's been 2 years. So today on the episode, we are going to be taking stock and just, going over the things we have learned along the way, how this show has changed us, made us better, hopefully. And that's our show for today.
The biggest lesson I have learned through TMR. I think that would be, like we earlier stated, these are conversations we usually have randomly in the living room or when we're just hanging out in the bedroom or stuff like that. But when we realized that we were taking on an obligation to make this public to you, the viewers, there was this added layer of a sense of duty to be more aware, to be more informed of the things that we wanted to talk about, so that we don't come off as ignorance and just basically people who are saying something that they don't know. So I think what the biggest lesson I have learned is in the process of constantly trying to learn and trying to be more aware of our opinions, to be able to speak about them in public like this, I found myself being a lot more self-interrogative, learning and unlearning things that I knew. And trust me, you cannot be with this guy and not unlearn. You have to. You will. I mean, I hate to think of the many things that we actually talk about that we don't talk about here. So yeah, that has been one of the biggest lessons, I suppose, to realizing that it is possible, however enlightened you feel you are, to especially when you have a duty to the public, when in whatever way, whether it's something you're saying, whether it's a form of advocacy, when whatever it is you're doing, you feel it impacts people, you have to learn to, I suppose, be a lot more self-aware of what you're saying, so that you don't end up making the wrong impact. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons
That's absolutely most of that for me. But I think in addition to that, one of the biggest lessons for me is learning that disagreement is okay. That you can be on the same side, with people on most of everything and still disagree. And that is how you get better. That's how communities get better. That's how ideas are better distilled. So, that has been one of the major lessons I've learned, that disagreement is okay. And TMR has made me that sense of responsibility that comes with, sharing your ideas on a platform such as this, has made me even more, like you said, to interrogate myself more. And in doing that, like when I go through that process of interrogating myself, there's this level, I feel that I have this responsibility to be honest about things, even when it's uncomfortable. Right? There are a lot of things, particularly like with LGBT politics, that I personally right now do not agree with. I agreed with them 2 years ago when we started out with TMR, and I don't agree with them right now. And if we have conversations about them, it's important for me to be honest about where I am right now and how I got to where I am right now, as opposed to being too invested in, what will people say, And I think that's what's been most I think that's what's been most, for me, that's what has been most rewarding, is coming to that place where you are not too invested in being right as opposed to being honest.
Yes. And I think I remember one of our earliest slogans before Queer Better took over was we always often used to hammer about having conversations that people don't want to have. And so I suppose in a way that's, even though at that initial stage when we were saying that, it just seemed like, okay, this is just what we are saying, this is just a byline for this show.
Yes.
But in an understated way, I suppose that started actually having an effect when you realize, but this is what you're about. This is what this show is about, to have these conversations that people don't normally have. And then you start thinking, okay, so but what are these conversations really? And then you start like interrogating yourself and knowing that, okay, these are the things you think,
Yes.
but which is not popular.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be popular. So that idea shaped the trajectory of the show in many ways, and it's something I'm really grateful for. What has been most memorable for me with TMR? I mean, I don't even know where to start. There are lots of things that have been very, very memorable. First of all, the feedback that we get, and it's so crazy. It's like from all across the world. We are getting emails from people in China. We are being quoted by doctorate students in Germany. Like, we are getting emails from journalists in halfway across the world.
UK,
and other places, and it's like
it's I think the sense of this sense of like you are contributing to something that is really bigger
than you.
That has been one of the most memorable things about this show, because when we started, to be honest, we just wanted to talk. But then as it gets bigger and bigger, you suddenly start realizing, okay, you are actually creating some sort of a ripple, an impact, and when people seek you out for your opinions you put out, it suddenly starts making you realize, oh, okay, wow, so that's happening. It's in a way, it's both gratifying and humbling at the same time. Because humbling because, okay, you realize there is an obligation here, there is a duty, there is a responsibility here, and that is big.
Yes. And even just the feedback from people that like, no matter how many times it happens, something I don't know that I'll ever get used to. People walking up to you, oh, Chidozie, TMR, thank you for the work, and it's like, okay, it's always like, whenever that happens, I'm always like, okay.
And because I think I told you and this has happened twice. Like, okay, one was one random guy who I stopped me along the way and was like, you are Walter, right? I'm like, yes. He said, oh my god, I used to watch you on TMR. In fact, your friend Chidozie, I went to school with him. And then there's this sort of this sense of, I'm going to farms with your friend right now. And that's what. And the second one was when somebody buzzed me, wanted to randomly. I was in a place where I was solitary. I was I wasn't in motion, and somebody approached me to a bank person approached me to sell me something regarding the bank services and all that. And this person, market strategy, started by telling me, "You are what I watch you on TMR. Oh my god, you're saying so many positive things. I love what you're doing." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like thinking, okay, thank you so much.
But I'm not by what you say.
No, actually, I was feeling very fresh with myself. Yeah. Until she was like, okay, so now I just have something I want to talk to you about. I'm like, now that's why you said.
Even on a personal level, it was being contacted by somebody I knew, like we weren't friends or anything, but this was somebody that was homophobic in university, and then contacting me. I watched TMR, and I have to say that in my opinion a lot of things have changed. I'm sorry if I ever did any such thing, but and it's like, okay, that's cool. So they've been a bunch. It's even hard for me to remember what's been most memorable. All of it is really wonderful. All the
And
feedback we get.
it's even yeah, people who make comments and people who reach out privately to be like, okay, this thing you said about so and so thing, we actively also learn from you.
Yes.
When people reach out to say something, to point out something about what we've said, which suddenly clicks and be like, oh yeah, that's true actually, and then we realign our thoughts, and sometimes we often revisit it in subsequent episodes that deal with the topic that we had already talked about. So yeah, it's very important. The feedback is a very, very important aspect of this show.
And it is very memorable.
Okay. I remember when we started this show, this is a little bit funny in hindsight now. I remember when we started the show, the language is a very important thing. We know the language we often use was sort of abstract, like whenever we referred to the community, it was like they, them, these people kind of language. But then I would say this show has in many ways made me feel a lot more braver, if I can use that word. A lot more determined to be more identified with who I am in the public view, because I remember one of our episodes where we did this whole thing where that was the 21 questions episode.
Okay,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was
well fun. In addition to the fun, it was not until we finished that I realized, wait a minute, what did I just do in this episode? I was essentially talking about myself. We're saying, so how gay are you? Yes, me. I'm like, wait. What did we this is no longer about the community. This is about me now. So, and when that happened, when I was startled by that realization, I was thinking to myself about, okay, so that happened, and how do you feel about it? And I was fine, and that made me realize something, that I had gotten to the point in this show, in my life, through this show, where in many ways the show made me interrogate my motives, I think, my intentions. And as the show went on and I grew more comfortable, because this thing about this journey to self-actualization is very continuous, and just when you think you've gotten to that destination,
you realize that there's
more, so I thought I was pretty cool with myself when we started, but then the show stretched it out and we're like, no, that's bus stop A, you feel is your end journey, it still continues, and all that. So it's more about the impact on my life, being more I hate using the word brave because it makes,
but it's true. I mean, I tell people all the time, like, the difference between being brave and being stupid is just a matter of perspective, right? So it's actually true. It's bravery. It's not I don't think it even serves anybody to make light of what this is. This is not an easy thing to do when it comes right down to it, and
so
I deserve some accolades.
I remember when I made the first post on Facebook that wasn't going to be perceived as pro-gay but as actual gay, and when I had finished typing it out and I was like, okay, you're about to hit send or post, and then when I was busy torturing myself with all these questions, I was like, but you have basically come out on
TMR
with your face. Facebook is just what you're writing. I'm like, oh, that's true. And then I hit post. And that was there's a certain exposure you're meant to face when you realize you have done this with your face in the camera, that makes when you're typing the words on Facebook to seem like small potatoes.
Yes, and I think even on the level of like personal development, because we have this whole thing in doing this show, we don't talk about the issues. We just have the issues we're going to talk about. We don't talk about it in detail before we come in, because we want the conversation to be as organic as possible. We don't want to come off like we are reading off like rehearsed lines or stuff. We want it to be as honest as possible. And generally, like on the level of self-development, this show has helped me think faster on my feet. Like you are talking about something, you have to think widely.
And I have told him this a lot of times. I have oftentimes, usually when he's talking and you see this faraway look on my face, I am actually learning right in front of you. Like, he's legit tutoring me on something. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, wow, that makes sense. Okay, how am I going to start saying something about that? So don't come off like I just learned it now. Adding to that, the show makes you, it teaches you.
Yeah, a lot. I learn a lot. There are a lot of things I even say in the course of conversation that I realized, okay, I haven't even thought about it like that before. So it's been, for me, a very big learning process. Absolutely, yes. I definitely think that we are achieving our vision on TMR. To be clear, like when we started out, the main thing was to provide an alternative narrative to what was constantly in the media. And and beyond that, it was also like, these are the sort of conversations we have all the time, so we might as well, right? But as far as our vision, our vision has constantly grown in the course of the show. We have gotten a better sense of just how much reach that this has and this can have. And so that has, in many ways, it has shaped our vision for what's possible with the Minority Report. And I think where I am right now, personally, it's like I think TMR goes beyond me right now. It's more than me. Like, I'm at a place where I want this to continue to grow, whether I am in it or not, right? And there are many ways in which this can translate to other things. And
another question, our vision for the show is a little bit because the vision was, I can say yes, we have, because the vision was a very different thing from what the vision is now. The vision was just to talk and to
counter the usual narrative. We're just two boys in front of a camera talking.
But now the vision is about more than that. The vision comes with a responsibility, because I think before there wasn't so much a sense of responsibility, because we're like, we're just going to say something, and what the heck, if you take it, fine. If you don't, that's cool. But as we talked and the relationships started shifting and perceptions started moving about, yes, the vision also changed, and it became more about, okay, so what can we contribute to the community
in the long term?
What can we do more besides expressing our views? And not that this is good, this is solid, but how can we make TMR more than just being in front of the camera and expressing these views? And yes, so the vision, if we're talking about the vision we started with, yes, we have totally encompassed that, and like we're on a different level of what we think, what we have, the vision we have for the show. And so yeah, that's
yes. So the answer is yes. My hopes for TMR in the coming years is more of this, but on a larger scale. On a practical level, I want a better setup, a studio, camera equipment, better lighting.
Preach this.
All of those kind of things. And just even beyond that, I want to see more shows like this. I want to see quality podcasts that are addressing issues that have to do with LGBT people, and doing it in a way that is honest, in a way that emphasizes and prioritizes critical thinking, because we need a lot of that. I want more. I want more for TMR. I want it to be bigger. I want it to be, I want better quality videos. I want better interviews.
In case you didn't get this from what he was saying, this is essentially us saying if you are boxed up and you're watching this, send some, because we want to have different camera angles where you see us from the side and the front and this way and that way. I mean, and less homemade feel and more.
Yes. And I mean, there's a lot that can come off of the Minority Report Nigeria, even just beyond the conversations that we have. There's a lot to do. There are documentary ideas.
Oh, trust me.
Bunch of things
we oftentimes when we sit and we brainstorm on the content to put out and on our dreams and aspirations for what future things we want to do, there are lots of things. Like you could call us and sit us down and be like, okay, so what are your dreams for your host for TMR? And would have a lot of things to say, so yes, there are dreams, there are hopes, there are things we suddenly realize we want to achieve using this platform. And it's one of the most gratifying things. During a recent meeting we had with someone who wanted sort us out for some one of these projects that we're hoping to achieve, was when she said something to the effect that she assumed that we are being funded. No, it wasn't. She didn't ask the question. She said it in a way that made it seem like she had made this conclusion that we're a funded show, and it was a big laugh that we had before we responded that no, it's not a funded. It's not funded, though. It's not. But yeah, it's
open to funds.
It's this is a marketing strategy, so But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but absolutely,
there's a lot of things we need, we want to do. A lot of further impact we want to reach out, and we also, like you mentioned, we also want this show to be an inspiration to other shows.
Other shows. We want to be able, and not just in terms. We want to even be able to go beyond like being an inspiration to actually providing like. For example, a space, equipment for other people to record, for example, those kind of things. Like, because
in that vein, that I think there's somebody who reached out to me on Instagram, on our Instagram account. This some sort of a shout out, because this person operates Pride TV, and it has to do with WhatsApp and WhatsApp statuses and all that. This person wanted to know how they could collaborate with us to do that. This was very recent. We haven't really had a conversation about it.
We haven't had a conversation about it at all. This is exactly what to talk about. I'm learning about this for the first time.
But what I took away from that message, initial communication, was people are being pushed to create medium to pass LGBT message out, and I like that. I love that. Absolutely. I love that.
We also want to collaborate with other people. Like, that's also really important. Collaborations are really, really important.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vision 2020 and beyond.
Yes.
Make it happen, Lord Beyonce. That's our show for today. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey this last year, and I can't think of anybody else I'd rather have had on this journey with me. It's been wonderful. We have both grown just as individuals, in terms of our political mindedness, in terms of our ideas. A lot of things have changed in the last 2 years, and a lot of things are still going to change in the coming years. And I'm looking forward to the ride.
Yeah. P.S. I hope you guys have noticed that Desiree doesn't touch me as much. That's one of the things
Actually, now that you mentioned it, wow, I'm asking my hands to myself. Finally. That's what I should for today. Until we come here next time, I'm Chidozie.
And I'm Walter.
Toodles.
Bye.